Okay, hello and welcome to our Spring 2014 BI and Reporting webcast series. I'm Jason Gumpert and we are here today for the final session in the series, our BI and Reporting vendor shootout. It has been a busy season for us. We started this series of webcasts back in April and have covered a range of topics related to business intelligence and reporting for Microsoft Dynamics. If you missed any of the sessions, I suggest you go back to MS Dynamics World's webcast section and seek them out. They're all available on demand, as will, and this one will be too in the next few days. We couldn't run this series without our sponsors, and I want to thank them for being a part of it. Today, they'll each be presenting on their vision for reporting and business intelligence in the dynamic space. We have presenters on the line from Halo BI, De facto, Solver, Target, and Zap. Each presenter will have 10 minutes and will begin in just a moment. We invite you to ask your questions using the Q&A block that you see to the right of the slides right now. We'll be saving questions until the end, but we will have our presenters take as many as we have time for. So without further delay, we're going to start things off with our first presenter, and that's Brandon Kirby of Halo BI. Brandon, I'm going to give you control now, and you have the floor.
Great. Well, thank you. And I want to thank everyone for joining. 10 minutes to cover so much. I'm going to do my best, so we're going to fly through a lot of content in a short amount of time. I'm going to start off with a little bit about the company. Many of you are already aware of Q for Business or IQ for Business or now Halo Business Intelligence. We've essentially rebranded over the last year, and we've been in the AX and Dynamics market since 2007 and have some wonderful customers that are great references for the Halo solution and really rely on us to make better decisions every day. Folks like Taylor Farms, that's a global rollout. They replaced Hyperion S-Base with Halo. GSC or Tempur-Pedic, many of these organizations have been through 3 or 4 different BI solutions. They're very satisfied and willing to be a reference for everyone if you're interested in speaking directly with them. We are a Gold Microsoft certified partner as well, but let's talk less about the company and more about the solution as a whole. So Halo is a holistic BI solution. So what does that really mean? So we do have pre-developed and pre-built integration to 25 different ERP systems. Obviously, we're on a Dynamics call, so we integrate and have pre-built KPIs and reports for Dynamics AX and SL, GP, NAV, and then obviously Microsoft CRM. But we do work with JD Edwards, Oracle, SAP, and Salesforce.com to name some of the more prominent vendors. And this solution will give you the ability to not only extract data out of that system, but also blend it with all these other data sources that are typically very important to your organization. It can be API calls, pulling down ADP or payroll type information, big data, non-SQL. I've got that highlighted. That's an important piece. Many of our customers have legacy databases that are in Oracle or Progress or Gupta even, custom flat files, etc. Well, as soon as you start to do this data mashup, you're going to run into data quality issues, things like duplicate customer or vendor information, address misspellings. Even if you only have one system, you're probably going to have some data quality issues. Halo has built-in data quality controls that are going to help clean this information up along the process, monitor it going forward to ensure that your team has single version of the truth accuracy for their information. And you can obviously leverage a lot of our best practices and pre-built reports designed, again, for your industry within Dynamics AX. Now, a key differentiator here is what we're going to develop is essentially an OLAP cube at the end of the day. And this can be modular in nature or a hypercube. So you can have something that's just inventory data in one cube or follow all the transactions or kind of a quote through a cache in one hypercube. It really depends on the approach that's best for your organization. So it's very flexible. From an end-user data discovery or reporting environment, everything's HTML5. So it's going to work wonderful on any mobile device, snap it into SharePoint, drop it into role centers. It's a wonderful environment that you can actually open up, and many have to their partners and suppliers to get better access to the information that they need. So Halo, as an overview, can do structured reporting, schedule the emails and alerts. That's great for that 8 a.m. Monday morning flash report. You can have alerts that will trigger different reports to be sent out to the appropriate parties. Excel integration with WriteBack. right back to the important piece on this slide. This is what's going to enable you to do your budgeting, planning, and forecasting. So if you have a budgeting, planning, and forecasting project, consider Halo. Different dashboards. This is an example of the HTML5 dashboard. I've got some wonderful heat mapping here and geocode analysis, mapping all of your customers or supplier information. Okay, I'm going to slow down a little bit. I'm going to drive data quality home here. This is an important piece to secure user adoption of any BI solution, is getting them to trust the data, right? So the first thing that the Halo solution is going to do is it's going to go out and it's going to extract the information and grade the data. So if it's address information, A quality, B quality, C, etc. So this is actually a customer of ours that really didn't feel like they had any data quality challenges, but they always did have the internal battle of the sales numbers were always higher than finance, and they never necessarily could pinpoint why. Well, this is a good example. So what they were doing is they were using SSRS, SQL reporting services, and creating an Albuquerque, New Mexico report, right? So what they were doing is the fellow that was creating the report was spelling Albuquerque the correct way, and he was only pulling 83% of his total data, skewing the numbers. So the Halo Solution 1 is going to be able to monitor and find out that that's an issue and clean that up, and then monitor it going forward so everyone can trust the data. So talking a little bit about data source aggregation, obviously we can connect to any of the Dynamics system. We've got tight integration with the AOT layer if you're a Dynamics AX customer, but also any other data source that you might have on premise or you might have in the organization. Oftentimes, especially in the enterprise, you have marketing systems and Salesforce.com potentially and different hosted applications, ADP for payroll, paychecks, etc. This information is very valuable. Halo is one solution that will give you a full 360-degree picture of your business in one environment, and with built-in data quality controls, you can trust this information. Quick screenshot of our integration with AX. This is actually blending this information directly within role centers. And what's so neat is that if you're a new AX 2012 implementation and you want to use that legacy 2009 or different ERP system that you had prior to your upgrade, we can serve that data up directly within the portal so that your users, day one of launching AX, can get good historical trending information and not have to go to 2 or 3 different places to get this total view of the data, if you will. Built-in collaboration so that your distributed workforce can log in, web-based environment, be able to look at the numbers and make comments back and forth. And as you see that I start to go through this slide, you'll see this BI maturity score. I do want to pinpoint this. You can go to our website and do your own maturity assessment. And what this is designed to do is to help you create a BI project that will allow your team to be able to kind of crawl, walk, run, fly through a BI journey. And you can leverage all these key components that are going to be very important to your organization. If you just do a rollout today, you're going to be very tactical in nature. You're just going to want to look at sales analytics. So just sales analytics is this blue line that I just painted on the screen here, right? That's your historical trend. That's what you did sell. With Halo, you're going to be able to get to a point that you're going to build models on top of this information, predictive models, that's going to take all your wonderful historical information and give you better visibility into the future. So things like better forecasting or adding advanced analytics, segmentation models or market basket analysis, some very, very neat bottom line impacting things that you can do with the Halo solution. But again, you don't have to do it all day one. Let's focus on getting the system up and running, getting immediate ROI for the BI solution, and know that this is a partner that you can evolve with over time. So with 2 minutes left, I'm going to spend 30 seconds on our user manual, and then I'm going to do a quick demonstration. Our user manual is actually printed on a mouse pad, and that's what you're looking at here. So if the mouse cursor turns to a hand symbol, you can slice, you can drill up, drill down within a hierarchy very easily. Now let's take the quick tour of Halo Prism, our front-end solution. Users log in, and they're authenticated either by your ERP security, AX, or your CRM security, or Active Directory, or maybe a combination of all the above. If a user logs into the system, they'll essentially see a tab set along the top. The tab set, you can almost think of your splash page. It's role-based. So finance team sees a different tab set than maybe operations and sales, etc. If a user just wants to go into the system and do some ad hoc analysis, One, they can access some of the pre-built reports that we have here along the left-hand side, things like GL, AR, AP, manufacturing, inventory type of information, or they can build and do data discovery without any IT intervention. What I can do is I can come into the system, quickly start to design a report that is important to my task. So if I want to come in and look at product sales by time, by supplier, and then see exactly which customers are purchasing them, I can do this all with just a couple quick clicks and design a dashboard that is going to be very impactful for my organization. Let's add a map. While I have 36 seconds left here, I'm just going to create a quick map here. Perfect. So now I've plotted all my AX sales or my dynamic sales, all my customers and where they are. I'm going to close with a few key points here. Top 10 questions is, can you connect to my data? Where is it hosted? We have a SaaS-based solution. Can I get a single version of the truth? We've got data quality controls that are actually built in. Too much to cover in such a short amount of time. So two things that I'll leave you with is, one, if you're a partner, we've just launched our partner program. Very excited to share with you the details. And the devil's in the details when it comes to BI. Challenge every vendor to show you their system using your data. We call it the no-cost proof of concept. And it's a wonderful opportunity to see how the system interacts with your data, and your users can try it before investing. Woo! I covered a lot of ground. Thank you, Jason.
All right, good job getting in there. All right, so thank you, Brandon, and we will, if you could just stop sharing, we'll now move on to our next presenter, and that is Megan Lapointe of DeFacto. Megan, I am going to give you control now, and I can also take you off of mute. Megan, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yep, you sound good.
Great. Okay, good morning, everybody. Can you see my screen?
We do.
So I'm from DeFacto Global, and we're going to talk about our solution, the DeFacto Performance Management Solution. Just a quick couple of slides about it. First of all, our approach to performance management. Now, performance management is basically how you are going to take control of your business. You have a lot of tools and processes in place in order to view your data, to analyze your data. So just taking a look at DeFacto's approach to this, first we have one single data model that's going to take us through the entire process. And if I start over here with what happened, we have a lot of tools that help us with our reporting process, consolidation. We can drill down, we can drill through to details. And once we figure out what happened, we can move on to take a look at what is happening through scorecards and dashboards. Moving on to analytics, why is something happening? We can take a deeper look into any piece of data to see why something is happening. And again, this might go back to reporting. We can drill down, we can drill through, and all of this is real-time data that we're looking at. What do I want to happen? That's where planning and budgeting comes into play. So we have a fully integrated planning and budgeting solution based on your business process. So what you will learn about DeFacto is it's very dynamic and very user-friendly and very flexible. We have drivers. So if you are doing your planning process and you need to see what happens if, let's say, you have a sales unit increase of 10% across the board, we can just put in that 10%, recalculate, and you'll see your bottom line effect. And then rolling forecasting to identify what's going to happen. So this is just one tool that is going to take us through the whole process. So we have a modeler component, and this is where we build our application, maintain the application, and we do have connectors to all of the dynamic tools so that we can get that application up and running in a matter of hours, actually. Once we have that up and running and it can be maintained automatically through integration processes that can happen on demand or nightly or however you need them to be scheduled, we can then have our input schedules so we can submit data to de facto, and then we can build any sort of reports and dashboards to take a look at that data. So speaking of that, I do want to spend more time showing you the product. So right now, I'm in Excel. So the front end is Excel. So all of you that are already familiar with Excel, there's less of a learning curve when you're just plugging in de facto to your Excel environment. So you can see up here we have a de facto ribbon. This is where we can refresh reports. We can open our reports or input schedules from a shared location. We can submit data. So you can submit right from any report or input schedule. You can process workflows. The data manager is a really powerful tool that helps us to load data, extract data. So we can load data right from Excel. And that's not the only way to get data in, because we would have an integration package bringing in our actual data. But if you currently have your budget or forecast data in Excel, we can take that data and just load it into de facto. And we have our reporting tools to help us quickly build reports. So what we're looking at here is an actual versus budget report. We embrace all that Excel has to offer, so we are using some conditional formatting to look at the data, or to format the data, so we don't have to spend any time formatting. Put in the rules for conditional formatting, and we're set. And then this is an Excel chart that we also are using that's going to be updated as we update data. So if I wanted to take a closer look at this, maybe I want to look at gross margin details. I can refresh this, and now I'm looking at my gross margin. This chart is also updated for me. And I can take a look at more details as well. So if I wanted to go into external sales, this is showing me all of my entities for my external sales. And I can continue to drill down in place so that I can look at the details here, or I can also change the dimensionality of this. So maybe I want to take a look at products for external sales, in this case for New York. And you always know what you're clicking on because the title is going to identify that for you. So with one report, we're looking at a lot of different data. There's a lot less maintenance with these reports because we have this great concept of expansion. So as your application changes, so maybe you're adding new accounts, maybe new companies are coming on board, the reports are automatically going to be updated because we're saying, show me everything that rolls into this piece of the structure. So a lot less maintenance of our reports. A lot of data is stored in de facto, but we can also scroll out to an external data source. So maybe I need to go into my general ledger to see what makes up the sales transactions for my two-door sedan. And I can simply run a query on that, and my results are returned. So I see that for external sales, I see my product, my invoice number, my amount. But in addition to that, I can also see the invoice itself. So de facto does integrate with any relational data source. It can integrate with Excel as well. We can take Excel files and load those in very easily. And then it also integrates with a document management system. So you can have that information at your fingertips. I just wanted to show you also how easy it is to create a report. So I'm going to go into my report wizard, and I'm going to bring in accounts in my rows, and then I'll bring in time in my column. You'll see that the title is going to be built into this report for me, but I could also type something up here. I'm just going to click OK, and my report is built. This is based completely on my current view over here. So I see that I'm looking at gross margin. If I wanted to change that, I could. Maybe I want to look at operating income. Just have to refresh, and now I'm looking at operating income. But maybe I want to see more details. So if I go into my report editor, I can say, all right, instead of going down just one level, maybe I want to go down 3. And then if I wanted to take a look at time, maybe I want to look at all levels of data. You can easily do that just by clearing out the number. And then when I click OK, I'm looking at more details for more time periods. Now what's also really helpful is we can investigate any number. So with external sales, if I wanted to take a closer look at that, I could say, all right, let me see my external sales by entity. I'm going to include all levels, and I only want to see the base level numbers. I don't want to have to take a look at all of the subtotals. So now I see what makes up my external sales by entity. And I could take this one step further and say, okay, for New York, I want to see all the products that make that up. And not only the products, I want those to be sorted in descending order. So now I'm looking at all of the products sorted in descending order for New York. And finally, with that, I could take it even one step further and say, really, I just want to see the top 5 sellers. So what are the top 5 selling products for New York external sales? And now I see that information. So it's very easy to get your data, look at it, analyze it, and then we can also submit data with the use of input schedules. Again, we can also load data through Excel, and that's a lot of what we do when we are going into a customer site and they're currently using Excel or some sort of Excel-based formulas for their budgeting process. We can get that and put it into de facto very easily. And I will hand it back over.
All right, thanks, Megan. Next to present will be Nils Rasmussen of Solver. And Nils, I will pass control to you now. I'll also unmute your line.
All right. And can you see my screen?
We can.
Okay, great. So hello everyone, my name is Nils Rasmussen from Solver, and I will show you a little bit of our solution called BI360. Gartner Group did a survey last year talking to CFOs about their top priorities within business intelligence, and as you can see, the results were the highest around dashboards, scorecards, and then financial reporting and consolidation was number 2, then budgeting and forecasting, then real data warehousing, and then being able to calculate such things as customer and product profitability. What's nice at BI360 is that it covers all of these top 5 areas within one single product suite. And that product suite has 5 modules. Reporting, planning is for budgeting, forecasting, and modeling. Dashboards, which are typical graphical visual dashboards. Collaboration, which is a web-based report library where you can commingle reports from any report writer and have social discussions on those. Social maybe is the wrong word to use, but essentially your department heads could be able to explain any budget variance above 10% in their monthly report, and that dialogue is captured within our report library. And then we have our data warehouse, which is a Microsoft SQL database. Very quickly, when you look at these modules in more detail, a lot of our customers come off of an old report writer, so often the entrance point into BI360 might be that they're only purchasing our report writer. And that's a quite unique report writer in that it's for fully formatted financial and subledger and operational reporting. The other thing that is nice is that we have, if any of you are on FRX still, we have an FRX conversion tool, so we can automatically convert FRX reports into BI360 Excel-based report definitions. The other thing that's key with our tool is that it's both real-time. So it's one of the few tools out there that can be real-time reports. That means you're posting a journal entry, let's say in your GL at month end, and you want to see immediately how that affects your P&L. you can do that because the report writer can run directly on your ERP database, just as it can run on our data warehouse. So there's multiple ways you can consume reports as an end user. You can run them in Excel. You can run them through our web portal. You can also run them through our mobile app, including drill down all the way back to the ERP, if you can imagine that from your iPhone or iPad. And we also have automatic email distribution of reports as well. We have our dashboards, budgeting, and warehouse. So how this looks all together is what you see here on this architecture slide. As I said in the beginning, some customers have a few $1,000s to spend, and they just want to do replacement of their old report writers, such as FRX. So this might be what you see up here, our report writer, going directly live against your Dynamics general ledger, for example, or sub-ledger. So that's very typical. Or you might want to plan for the future and get a BI suite that can also handle your budget process and your forecasting process. So that's this module, as well as dashboards, and as well as being able to go against multiple data sources, such as commingling your Dynamics data with maybe data in an in-house data warehouse you've already built, and maybe data sitting in, a membership system or a homegrown operational database of some sort. And with our data warehouse, which is pure Microsoft SQL Server, very easy to configure because it's already built. You just have to decide what type of data you want to put in there. You now get yourself a new, easy to manage data warehouse that the finance team literally can run. So with that said, let's take a look at what the product looks like. So what you're looking at right now is our web portal. So that means the only thing you need as a user, as an end user, is a web browser, and then you log in here, and you can set up your own favorites. So if you have literally hundreds of reports and dashboards, you might have 8 or 10 of them that you want to see as an end user. And you can see it's a pretty nice and easy navigation through the reports there. So these are formatted financial statements, P&Ls, cash flows, balance sheets, and so on that you've built using our Excel-based report writer, and now you're actually being able to run them through the web. Just navigating right now through some of my favorite reports. And then notice what comes up here. That's a dashboard. That's not from our report writer module. This is from our dashboard module. And the beauty is it's one single interface and one single portal, even though underlying, here's a formatted report writer built in Excel. Here's a dashboard from our dashboard module. Here's another dashboard. So let's look at the report first. So I want to run this P&L, so I can open that up. And you can see, as with most report writers, you have parameters, so I can run it consolidated or for any one of my companies. You can see as I do my lookup, then it looks in and let me pick a company, any period, and so on. And then I can go full screen and navigate this fully formatted report. This was designed, again, in Excel with our Excel-based report writer. I can drill down, and if I ran this report, let's say on Dynamics AX or GP or NAV or one of the ERP systems live, then I'm drilling directly into the GL and seeing the underlying transactions. Or if it was a sales report, drilling into sales transactions. If I want this report down from the web, I can click download, and I can put that report right on my desktop like this. And then I can come out to my desktop, and there we go. And I can open that up, and now you see the report there. Because it originated in Excel, formulas, calculations are still there, if you notice. So I could do a little simulation here now without having to, retype Excel formulas, and everything updates as you see because the formulas are still there. Okay? So very easy for your end users to get reports down from the web and right onto their desktop. And you can also share the reports. If you have a smartphone, you can scan it, bring it with you on the plane. You can email it to someone you want to share it with, and so on. You can also set up an auto refresh. So the report will run itself, let's say every 5 minutes, and you can stick a big flat panel TV on the wall, and you don't need to go and click any refresh buttons. Let's move on. Let's take a look at the dashboard. I want to show a dashboard that you probably won't see anywhere else, because this dashboard is actually real time on Dynamics, on the sales module in Dynamics. Again, we support all of the 4 Dynamics ERPs plus Dynamics CRM with real-time integrations. We use Dynamics GP here at Solver, and I'm actually a user of this exact same dashboard on our real data. Now you're looking at the Dynamics demo database, and I find it quite useful not to have to update the data warehouse or an OLAP cube when I sit and just look at my data at the end of each day and seeing new sales that have come in and so on. So here you have typical dashboard functionality, but again, I'm real time on sales order processing in Dynamics there. I see my top 10 products, so I can drill down on this one product, and you see, now I can see that these are the salespeople that sold that product, and below I can see which month that specific product was sold. If I drill in on Nancy, now I can see the 2 customers he sold to. Remember, this is real time on Dynamics, right? Of course, if you have lots and lots of data and so on, you might want to run it through our data warehouse for high performance. But it works really well when you're looking at specific data sets like this. So going back, we still have a few minutes. 1 minute, perfect. So going back to this, then what you also should know is that when you go in and you're in Excel, this is really for those of you that are finance guys. You can build reports directly from Excel on any of the ERPs or our data warehouse like this. And the beauty here is what you're seeing here, that I can build the reports super fast, having access to all of the fields in the ERP or that you have set up in our data warehouse like this, and use full Excel formatting and so on. No magic formulas you have to learn, and you already have data. We don't have much time to format here, but I think you get the idea. Okay, and adding filters and of course everything else to it. Just very, very quick. Everything with full drill down, as you see here.
We are at time.
All right. All right. And that means since we're out of time, this is our information, and feel free to contact us at solvusa.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nils. Next, we have Mark Sullivan of Target. Mark, I am going to pass control to you. And I will open up your phone line.
Clear out my desktop here. And can you see and hear me well?
We can.
Super. Well, thank you so much, everybody. I certainly appreciate your time. My name is Mark Sullivan. I'm the U.S. Practice Manager here at Target U.S. And if you have any questions or information after this session, you could simply email us at info.us@target.com. I want to talk a little bit about the company, so I'm going to go through a handful of slides and then try to do a quick product demonstration. We've actually been in the space for a very, very long time. So we were founded back in 1986, been in business almost 28 years. We have over 5,000 customers worldwide. We have over 400,000 active and registered users worldwide, and we have a presence in every corner of the globe. So we have 15 subsidiaries worldwide, and 80% of our customers are Microsoft Dynamics users. And for the past 4 years in a row, we have continually ranked in Gartner's Magic Quadrant for Business Intelligence, and the only Dynamics partner to be featured in Gartner's Magic Quadrant for BI. I want to talk a little bit about our development philosophy, the target journey that we have had, and then also the target journey that's embraced by our end users. So it really starts with understanding the health of your business. So really getting your arms around basic business intelligence and analytics, building out a data warehouse, connecting the most critical data sources, and then being able to share dashboards, analysis, mobile business intelligence, storyboards, and reports. And then as you take the target journey, as you build and strive to become a data-driven organization, we want you to experience the operational excellence. Our development philosophy has been built on the OODA loop. So this is the loop here that navigates our end users through the decision-making process and through the target application with the fewest amount of clicks as possible. And this is the stage where you really want to be able to set your data free to anybody, decision makers, vendors, suppliers, basically connecting all of the data sources to provide analytics for all departments, and then be able to monitor with alerts and predictive capabilities that are built into the tool, and then being able to perform data discovery and ad hoc analysis so you can easily analyze any type of external data that might not be residing currently in your data warehouse, and simply use Target as a front-end tool to slice and dice and gain insight from that data. And then the final step as you become a data-driven organization is from that competitive analysis standpoint, to be able to look outside of your organization and extend the value chain and learn what's going on before and after you meet your customers. So being able to combine, for instance, your ERP or CRM data with external data sources, whether it be sentiment analysis, Google Analytics, social media, to try to find out what your customers are saying 6 months before they buy your product or service. What are they saying when they're engaged in a sales cycle with you? And probably more importantly, what are they saying about you 6 months after they purchase your service or products? We make life easy with our integration into several Microsoft products. We have a very, very deep integration into the full Dynamics suite of products. For instance, there's 3 different types of integration now supported in AX and SharePoint. So from a snapshot point of view, being able to post a target report, an analysis, a dashboard as a static object, as a dynamic web part, so being able to post objects that update every time the data changes, and then being able to have that active web part, so being able to post live analytics and being able to slice and dice those reports or those analysis. The dynamic web part is supported directly on the AX forms, and then everything is linked back to the full target application. Now, integrating BI and analytics into AX, it essentially just makes users make better decisions. So being able to get the right information when you need it the most. For instance, should I accept a certain PO from a customer if their outstanding balance is critically high? Or do I have enough raw materials to start this particular production run? Being able to align organizational behavior by pushing dashboards out to users. So being able to push a dashboard, for instance, of raw material prices over time to a purchase order form to allow the purchasing department to catch prices that might be creeping up or to take advantage of historically low prices. And then finally, linking AX to the full BI and analytics platform for further analysis. So you can slice and dice, add your own dimensions, measures, calculations, and make sure that you get the needed insight to make the right decisions for your organization. We also have pre-built accelerators for all of the Dynamics suite of products. These are pre-built cubes. It takes about 20 minutes to install our cubes for Dynamics, and then after that, you can begin analyzing your data. So a 20-minute install, and you can begin leveraging Target. And then, of course, the SharePoint integration that I mentioned earlier. We're certainly pushing the envelope for self-service. So we have 9 patents associated with our latest release of Target. Any data source is supported, so SQL and non-SQL alike. We enable our end users to create analysis and reports on the fly, whether that information is currently in the data warehouse or not. We allow automated distribution and batch reporting, so you can set up a report once and then make sure that each recipient is getting their own unique report, and it's just going to run until you turn it off. And then we allow continuity of consumption of the data among several different data sources. So if you want to be able to consume your data on a Windows client, on any browser, on a handheld device like a Windows tablet or an iPhone or a Google phone or what have you, we allow consumption on a variety of different platforms. Users can create and share dashboards, analysis, reports, what-if scenarios, so there's strong predictive analysis capabilities within Target, and the alerts and notifications that you can set on any number in Target is going to make sure that you don't deviate away from any numbers that you're monitoring. I want to dive into a very brief demo because I know we're kind of short on time. But this particular view is probably most ideal for any executive or any manager, a very clean and simple portal look and feel. If I was on the finance side, I can keep my most important reports and analysis right here in a finance tab. So if I want easy access to a credit cost analysis, if I wanted to quickly maybe benchmark some of the different products that we go to market with, and then maybe benchmark one of my sales reps or departments or geographies or sales teams, I can certainly do that. If I wanted to have a very detailed income statement at my fingertips, I could leverage dynamic time periods. This is an out-of-the-box functionality that we have. I might be able to want to sort from, say, my retail division and then just find out what's going on year to date here in 2014. If I was on the sales side of the house, I would have different analysis and reports here that relates to my sales functions. So for instance, a production yield analysis or maybe my sales team performance analysis. You can add any dimension that you want to a criteria bar. So if I wanted to sort this maybe just for my retail operations, if I wanted to be able to drill down and slice and dice, all 4 objects within this analysis are automatically updated and linked to one another. So out-of-the-box functionality. If you ever want to benchmark any particular rep or any particular geography or business unit, you can just drag it and drop it into any chart that you want. If you want to investigate, might be a low trend on profit margin, you can leverage the Smart Pad, go right to the data source, and I might want to be able to add profit margin, for instance, right next to my sales column. And then I can easily add an intelligent agent to this. If I want to be able to add a particular icon, like a little thumbs up state, I can say everything above 20%, I want to be a green thumbs up. Anything below, I want to have, maybe a negative thumbs up. And then if I wanted to create a report from scratch, I could leverage another patented technology here, and I'm simply going to tell Target what I want. I might want to say that I want to be able to report on my different salespersons, products that I go to market with, and maybe profit margin. And I'm simply going to tell Target what I want, and I'm going to get my results. And I can set this up for batch scheduling, or from this report, I can hyper-relate directly to an analysis if there's something that piques my interest in this particular report. And then, of course, I could set up a notification agent on any number within Target, so Target can work around the clock for me, monitoring any number or anything that I really want to gauge. So I know we're out of time. The 10 minutes certainly goes quickly. Thank you so much. And if you do have any questions, info.us@target.com. And I'll hand this back to you. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. I'm going to now hand over control to Trey Johnson of Zap. And I'm going to also open up the phone line for you, Trey.
Great.
Right,
thank you very much. Yeah, I'm here.
Excellent.
So let me just share my screen and assume that's coming through well for everybody. And so, great. So thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity to present here, and I guess in some way, shape, or form, kind of that cleanup amongst the vendors. My name is Trey Johnson. I'm the Senior Vice President with Zap as an organization. We're very happy to have had the relationship we've had with the MS Dynamics World folks. And certainly want to talk, specifically to our organization as it relates to Dynamics and the overarching Zap community around Dynamics. And so to get to know us a little bit, as a business, we're working with customers in over 44 countries globally. We've been at this for nearly 15 years. From a user standpoint, we have over 130,000 users of our product, which is growing rapidly. I think even in this quarter, we're probably going to add 15 to 20 Microsoft Dynamics customers to the Zap portfolio. And given that they're from the size of 50 million to 7 billion in revenue, that's going to be a pretty much an uptick on that user count that we have. And we've really built our analytical solution to focus very squarely on the ERPs and the CRMs that are in use in the Dynamics enterprises. And so as a result, we've got a very compelling offering, and I don't know if we'll be able to get it all across in 10 minutes. We're certainly going to give it a shot. And so one of the reasons, or the reason for why folks are choosing ZAP as an organization, is our solution is a complete end-to-end BI solution that is built to work well with the ERP investments you've made around Dynamics, the CRM investments that you've made, the other data sources that you have available that may be legacy ERPs or whatnot, that you want to bring that data into reporting, but you don't necessarily want to migrate that data into your new Dynamics deployments. Because we have that one solution for the reporting and the analysis, for the reporting distribution, as well as a variety of visualizations and metrics, we feel like that is certainly a key differentiator for our product offering. But one of the key elements of what we've done in concert with our number of our enterprise customers is we have delivered more than 1,000 pieces of analytics content out of the box for customers so that they can be rapidly up and running, looking at their data in ways that, quite frankly, they may not have ever chosen to before. And so that really lends to the buy versus build philosophy that we have around business intelligence. And, it's practically impossible for ZAP as an organization, with more than 500 plus customers, to get them all onto a slide and, give you all of the names. But, even looking at the logos on this particular slide, this is absolutely a slice of Americana as well as probably the global enterprise stage. And, there's probably customers that are on this slide that are organizations you've dealt with. As a matter of fact, I know there's one organization on this slide that all of us have dealt with as an organization. The reasons that we have extracted, not from Gartner, not from, surveys that were conducted with a wider Dynamics audience, but really our 500 plus customers, is the reasons they've chosen ZAP is we offer a complete end-to-end product. That is a product that we have built within our organization. It's not a combination of technologies acquired from other vendors wrapped in a marketing wrapper to say that there's one solution, but it's truly one solution. We offer a large amount of localized support. Within North America, we have an extremely strong team addressing the needs of the customers that you see on this slide that are North American. And EMEA, we're working closely with Aston Martin, and, kind of the list goes on. Seeing Microsoft's name on the slide is probably one indicator of their endorsement of our technology. Microsoft actually is a customer of ours. They're using ZAP to integrate data from multiple data sources within their organization, inclusive of their Dynamics deployment, to support the technology operations of their organization. In addition, we are tightly integrated into the ecosystem. We've had a partner program for a number of years. We're actually working very closely with some of the best partners, ideally probably your partners, around Dynamics AX, NAV, and CRM. And many of those partners are leveraging ZAP to run their own businesses. We have a large list of reference customers. The names you see on this slide are just kind of the tip of the iceberg in terms of a referenceable customer population. And with that 15 to 20 new Dynamics customers we'll be adding this quarter alone, you can bet that we're going to have a continuous flow of new customer names that you can talk to better understand, kind of the way our product is before you make a purchase decision. And after that purchase decision, it really becomes all about the community that ZAP has to offer for organizations such as yourselves. We have, a community that has access to round-the-clock help articles, some product documentation. We deliver on-demand tips and tricks webinars, via recordings. We're really focused on, the collaboration opportunity between the ZAP users. And these are ZAP users that are focused on Dynamics ERPs, not 25 different other ERPs, but specifically, the Dynamics platform. They're sharing their best practices, the lessons they've learned, we have a ZAP user group that is a virtual user group that the organizations get together and communicate with each other through. And then in addition, all of these organizations have the direct access to our development organization, the ability to submit ideas and to track those ideas through the process, which we believe is just vital for organizations to share, kind of where they want to see our products grow and certainly deliver the outcomes they're looking for. And speaking of outcomes, the key elements of our outcomes from our solutions are rapid user adoption, the dramatic reduction of the underlying risk, certainly the ability to, deliver, value in a significant way using our prepackaged content within just a number of weeks, and overall self-sufficiency. You're seeing some big enterprises here, but again, we have customers that are, $50 million in annual revenue that have lean IT organizations. Finance departments are running the entire solution, not a combination of IT and finance, but truly finance organizations are running them. So that's a key element for us. And so to focus just for a moment on what our technology is and how it stacks up, we have our Cube Express technology that leverages the investments we've made in Dynamics and SQL Server platform. From there, we're generating an operational data store and a multidimensional database and SQL Server analysis services. Cube Express is addressing a lot of the needs around the data quality, giving you a platform that you can manage. And Cube Express actually won an award from Microsoft amongst all of these ISVs and many others as the Global ISV Solution of the Year just a few years ago. Our product, ZAP BI, is one that presents data extremely well in a variety of different visualizations that are needed for organizations like your own. But what we really pride ourselves on is the ability to deliver those answers wherever you need them. So we can embed directly in Microsoft Dynamics and the AX product and CRM. As a matter of fact, we can have financial analytics flow through into CRM so your salespeople sell to the right customers. But we're doing so using native web parts, not just simply web pages that are dropped into SharePoint or the enterprise portal, but true native web parts that talk to each other, that are really key to making sure that your analytical experience matches the business processes that you're engaged in. We can leverage Excel and email, as the others have kind of talked to, and certainly we can deliver on a wide variety of browsers. We have a mobile facade for our application that is different than what you see directly in the ZAP BI browser interface, because we believe very strongly in the need to render a little bit differently for mobile. But the biggest differentiation, I think, as you look across all of these solutions, is the opportunity to really achieve things significantly from the onset with 1,000+ pieces of analytical content. And so I've got about a minute here, so I'm going to see what I can do to quickly switch gears. And if I can't do it quickly, then we may have some problems. But I think that I've got myself back in here. We're going to log in real quick. And what you're seeing on the screen is an example of our integration into the Role Center environment of Dynamics AX. I wish I could take you through this in a lot of detail. This happens to be for a CFO audience. We have similar views for accounts receivable, payable. You can engineer these views, drop the individual elements alongside of the rest of the business processes that you need to reflect within the Role Centers. As a matter of fact, you can also consume this in more of a mobile facade, and I wish I had time to go through that, but I really do want to point to those deep integrations that we do have within the Dynamics AX product. And so what I'm doing is bringing up the AX client similar to the way I would bring up a Dynamics CRM. And here you can actually see different elements within the Role Centers, the ability to interact with, ask additional questions, get additional answers by simply changing filters and slicers or double-clicking on groups like the wholesale customers that you see here. And probably one of the things that is very unique to the way ZAP works is we also have the opportunity to directly embed within the AX user interface and the CRM screens as well, meaning that you can have a panel for ZAP BI here that is very contextual and related to the customer. And so I know that we don't have a lot of time, and so I'll just leave you with, if you want to get more information, visit our website, that is zapbi.com. And my name is Trey Johnson, or trey.johnson at zapbi.com. And thank you very much, Jason.
Thank you, Trey. I'm going to grab control here, and I just want to thank all the presenters for doing a great job keeping it within those short time limits that we had today. I'm going to actually open up all the phone lines now to the speakers. And I want to invite all of the folks on the line here today to think about what your questions are. We've got one or two in already, and we certainly have time for a few more. Well, the first thing I want to do, actually, a couple of people had asked about the link that I had at the beginning, which was going back to some of the presentations from earlier in this series. I'm just going to paste that into the chat here, so if anyone's interested, they can click through on that. The other thing I'm going to do now is just bring up contact information for our speakers from today. So if you have any questions, want to follow up, please do reach out to them. I'm sure they'd be happy to talk more. First question that's come in today. Somebody asks, can you, and let me try to find it here. Can you speak about your work with nonprofit organizations? And why don't we start on that question with Brandon. Brandon, do you want to take a shot at that one? Brandon, are you there?
I am here, yes. We've worked with American Heart Association and probably 10 to 15 other, anything from Assemblies of God, that's a Dynamics GP customer, to some other folks in the East Coast. It, quite frankly, hasn't been a big focus for us. These are customers that have used us at other installations and have went to a nonprofit, and they know what we've been able to do in such a short amount of time, and it works very well for their business as well. So not a big focus on nonprofit.
Okay. Megan.
We have a handful of nonprofit customers and obviously looking to gain more. We do a lot of fund planning with them. So how many funds they have, what's the to-date amount that has been allocated, and what remains left. So it's really, again, with de facto, it is a dynamic solution, and we're able to cover a lot of different types of markets.
Okay, and Nils?
Yeah, for us, it's we actually have a large not-for-profit customer base, specifically because we have some Dynamics partners that are very focused on it, and they bring in BI360 there, especially around the DC area. It seems to be a lot of them. A lot of them seem to be running Dynamics GP for whatever reason, and a lot of them want to have not only a report writer but also a budgeting solution. So that seems to be a good reason too.
All right, Mark.
Yeah, well, we have certainly worked with many nonprofits. So, we've got almost 5,200 customers. So, Target is a very large footprint in really every vertical that you can imagine. So if somebody is looking for, references as far as nonprofits go here in North America, or if they're overseas in Europe, we could certainly put you in touch with the right, with the right players in that space. So we've done business over the years with every vertical that you can imagine.
Great, and Trey.
Yeah, great. Not-for-profits are not necessarily a big focus for Zap, principally because, we've really marketed to, the mid-market and enterprise. With that said, we have had partners that have brought, those organizations to us. The Canadian Sports Centre in Ontario is a great example of a not-for-profit that we work with that is a significant amount of XRM development to track athletes, and so therefore the XRM customizations, our tool set picks up extremely well, similar to the ERP customizations that we pick up from the Serenic solution, which Serenic, through a relationship that we've had with them, has brought a number of nonprofits to us as well.
Okay, great. Let me take on another question here. One person asks, which products have strong planning and budgeting components? So if you would all like to comment on that one, we're going to start with Megan this time. Megan, do you want to take that one?
Sure. One of the great things about de facto is the whole setup is really based on what your business needs are. So we have situations where we can allocate data for budgeting and planning purposes. We can, for let's say salary related, we can load all employees and get salaries and related salary expense by employee for budgeting and forecasting. We can put in driver-based budgeting, so that means that you have some assumptions that you made and you want to see what the bottom line effect is. And then we can just take it down to the line item level and say, all right, what are my travel expenses going to be? So we can either do bottom up or top down or a combination of both to get a good picture of what's going to happen.
All right, and Nils.
Yeah, it's a core area that we work within. I've seen some of the customers we have replaced some of the well-known names like Hyperion and Cognos and their budget solutions. So that speaks to the ability to have all of the key budgeting and forecasting functionality. And I think for Dynamics customers, it's particularly good that right next to the budgeting tool, you have a report writer that not only gets the budget data out, but that can push the budget data back to Dynamics if you so desire, and also handle your actual to budget variance reporting.
All right, and Mark.
We do not focus strictly on the budgeting and forecasting. We want to be more on the advanced analytics and reporting. However, we have a very solid and mature relationship with Budget Maestro, and they allow things like driver-based monitoring. They have very powerful what-if capabilities, automatic consolidation. They've got a reforecast wizard. Very fast and flexible, capabilities for foresight into the financial statements and whatnot.
Okay, and Trey.
Now, Jason, I was pretty sure this was a BI shootout, but with that said, our tool set is certainly complementary to providing analytics to support the budgeting process. With that said, it's not a big focus for us for budgeting and planning. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of customers that are still working, particularly around AX, natively within the budgeting solutions that are there. We are then extracting the budget information alongside of the actuals to support the more traditional facilities around BI, performance management, the overall monitoring of progression towards goals, things of that nature.
All right, and Brandon, do you want to take a shot at this one?
Yeah, sure. Our focus has more been on data aggregation and cleaning the data and visualizing it for advanced analytics. We have built a Excel plugin that allows write back to the cube, and many organizations have used this for budgeting and planning, but not really necessarily our focus. I think, again, I focus on more on the BI as a whole. So.
All right, great. I know we're just past the top of the hour here, and I want to be sensitive to folks' time. We do have several other questions in the queue. Do the folks, the speakers on the line, have time to take a few more questions?
Yes.
All right. Yes, target
you.
All right, great. Yeah, so next question, an interesting one. How does Microsoft's march to the cloud affect your offerings? And let's start this time with Nils.
All right. Can you repeat that question, please?
Yeah, the question is, how does Microsoft's march to the cloud affect your offering?
That's a good question. We always march together with Dynamics since our solution is very much based on the Dynamics products. So, you have the cloud with companies like SaaS Plaza, Data Resolution, and so on, which are hosting providers. And then, of course, you have the true Microsoft Cloud with Azure. And either way, wherever the customer decides to host Dynamics, BI360 will typically be hosted with it. That's the best structure we've seen compared to having BI360 hosted in a separate cloud and then pipe data between the clouds. But both are options.
Great. Mark?
We're actually going to be featuring and kind of showcasing our work with Microsoft in this particular area. So we can absolutely work with Microsoft in the cloud. This has been something that we've been kind of keeping under wraps, so to speak, so I guess we're kind of put on the spot here a little bit, but we are going to be showcasing this with Microsoft over the summer.
Okay, and Trey?
Yeah, I think all one has to do is think back to the slides where, we had a customer slides and Microsoft was on the slide to know that we work very closely with them. We've been working very closely with Microsoft around, they're aligning to the things they're doing with CRM Online and AX Online as a member of the TAP program. And frankly, our own technology is very much already engineered for the cloud with support for multi-tenancy and a lot of the other things that are just absolutely necessary and incumbent on a BI vendor if they want to be in the cloud space.
Okay, Brandon.
Yeah, we host in the cloud, or we have actually built a connector to Azure to pull down information from the cloud into an on-premise application, or if you want to host it in Azure, we can accommodate that as well.
All right, excellent. Megan.
We are also very flexible with hosting. Our internal de facto application is hosted in the cloud. So it just adds to our offerings.
Okay, great. Let's look for another question here. Question is, how much time would it take to implement your BI solution, including development, deployment, and training? This person's asking in particular for NAV. However, I think I'd maybe let you answer that one kind of in whatever context you'd like. And I believe this time we're going to start with Mark.
Okay. Well, as far as implementation, it takes about 5 minutes to install the Target Decision Suite. It takes about 20 minutes to install the Business Intelligence Accelerators for NAV. And then after that, you're off to the races. You can begin analyzing your NAV data, after 20 minutes or so. Second part of that question was training. We offer a full range of professional and consultancy services, and the average user takes a one-day training class with Target. Target continually ranks as a very easy-to-use tool. That's why it has such a high adoption rate, as noticed by Gartner and BARC and a lot of other leading analysts. So a one-day Target fundamentals class, and the average user is very proficient after that.
All right. Trey.
Yeah, so, I'm certainly not going to say that, a company is going to be up and running and trained within 2 days because, that's just simply not practical. What I can tell you is that our solution certainly does install quickly. And from the onset, the implementation is very much about the organization taking ownership. And so the users are oftentimes going through our instructor-led web-based training. That's probably about 12 hours per student to really learn all about the design features of a product. Concurrently, we're building in the background cubes, leveraging their customizations, not an off-the-shelf cube, but something that is very specific to that organization. And within a couple of weeks, there's typically a trained body of users that are working with their own data. They're starting to ask questions and get answers, and we're shifting away from an implementation methodology to more of a mentoring methodology.
Okay, Brandon.
Yeah, similar answers. Kind of depends on what the scope of work is. Our training session is anywhere from 3 to 5 days. We're very much a face-to-face organization. We come out on-site, train your users. After we leave, we essentially assign them homework that they can begin using the online video tutorials or the self-paced workshops that we have to continue to build their skill set and knowledge set. But it kind of depends on what you want to go live with in such a short amount of time. So it depends on the scope.
Okay, Megan.
Agreed across the board that it does depend on the scope. If you are just installing a reporting and an analytical solution, we can get the application installed and built in, I would say, about a day. But that would probably require some tweaking on the customer's part to get their hierarchy set up depending on what's coming over from the general ledger system. And then as far as training goes, it can be anywhere from a half day for the person that's just going to be creating simple ad hoc reports to reviewing the data up to, and then again, this is just on a reporting side, up to a day and a half for the more advanced reporting options.
Okay, and Nils, I think you have not answered this one yet, right?
Right. Installation is easy. It's usually done by your own IT department, sometimes with support from our remote help desk. Training of end users, you saw a little bit in my demo, but it's not a lot required to, browse reports and hit run, for example. So that's something you would train your own users on. Power user training, specifically in designing reports, usually we like a 2-day class for that to train you how to be a report writer and to manage the system. And budget implementation, since we can do very, very complex budget models, usually you would have a consultant with you advising on best practices and really guiding and maybe leading the budget implementation, and that's often a 3 to 4 week implementation if you have a pretty significant model.
Okay, we have 2 or 3 more questions here at this point that I do want to try to get to. Some of them will be a little quicker. The next one, which products produce an actual data warehouse? And maybe we could just go quickly through, each of you could maybe give an answer to that one. I believe we're set for Trey to answer first on this one. So data warehouse.
Thanks for the easy answer, yes.
Yes, all right. Brandon?
We worked with the Kimball Group and actually built a true enterprise data warehouse, including slowly changing dimensions and change data capture.
Okay, Megan?
Yes, we have a data warehouse as well, but you can use our reporting tools against any analysis services cube.
All right, Nils.
Yeah, that's an exciting question, and I think it's a minefield because every vendor I know these days in BI say they have a data warehouse, whether it's cubes or staging databases or real SQL data warehouses that they have. So I would strongly recommend that you get the demo from each vendor of their quote-unquote data warehouse. We definitely fall under the definition of a data warehouse with slowly changing dimensions like Brand mentioned, and hierarchies and currency conversion and the type of things you need to do. But again, I would recommend you get a demo of the data warehouse itself by the vendor so you can see if that fills your needs.
Okay, and Mark.
Yeah, the answer is absolutely yes. So we can connect to, a relational database, if you want your data warehouse in that regard, or OLAP cubes as long as it's analysis services 2005 or higher.
All right. A question that's NAV specific, and maybe I'll combine it with, since it's from the same person. So does your BI solution have limitations for NAV with the worldwide W1 localization, I guess you call it, and then also implementations. Do you have experience implementing it in Africa? Maybe we want to combine those two. And let's see, I think we're ready. I think we're back to starting with Brandon on this one.
Yeah, so I was on a call 2 nights ago with Canafric, that's a Kenya customer. It's 10 p.m. here, 8 a.m. there, so yes, we do. We actually have one customer, so that was them. And nav limitations, not that I'm aware of, but I'd like to learn a little bit more in detail.
Okay, Megan.
I am also not aware of any nav limitations. We certainly haven't run into any. And then as far as Africa, I believe we have customers in Africa, but the implementation was done in the U.S.
Okay, and Nils.
We have actually a pretty new office we just established in Johannesburg, so they support the whole African continent. As far as nav goes, we have, I think, 4,000 fields pre-integrated into GL and subledgers. And of course, most nav customers tend to do customizations in the nav database, so we have a specific integration interface for customers where they can add any type of custom field or table that are unique to them.
All right, Mark.
Yeah, as far as the presence in Africa, absolutely. So we've got a dedicated EMEA team. So we absolutely do business in Africa. And as far as nav, I mean, we've been working with Navision since they got started in our backyard in Denmark. So our global headquarters is in Denmark.
They were known as Navision. They were a DOS-based system, and we've been working with them since then. So very, very healthy and long-standing relationship. No limitations whatsoever as far as our work with NAV.
Okay, and Trey.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a team on the ground in Joburg that's servicing the African market. So therefore, we do absolutely have customers in Africa. From a NAV perspective, we have been one of the few products, maybe only, that carries the Certified for Microsoft Dynamics logo for the NAV application, as well as ERP and CRM. And so as a result, you know, the things that we do uniquely in our technology to work with NAV, and certainly those limitations that the gentleman or lady mentioned in the questions, are overcome with our Cube Express product, because Cube Express can discover all of the standard elements as well as the customizations that have been put into place by a vendor, by a third-party ISV, or by the customer themselves. And so we're very well equipped to support customers in Africa with a tailored solution.
All right. Well, I believe we are at the end of our question queue here. I want to thank all of you for sticking around for an extra 15 minutes to answer so many questions for our audience and for everyone on the line to ask so many great questions. So we're going to end it there. The session is being recorded. We'll be making it available on demand very soon. Have a great day.